Hello everybody, this is Extreme Nick 09 and this is going to be my Wrestlemania 28 experience video. The stories and the stuff that you did not get to see in the Wrestlemania Day weekend videos that I put up. And since I only have 15 minutes to do this, I'm going to have to start talking as fast as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right on into it. I'm going to skip the whole entire trip there, except for one thing I do want to point out. On the 2 days that we were driving to Miami, I read this full Hulk Hogan My Life Outside the Ring book, and it is a great book. Like, honestly, inspirational. I didn't even like Hulk Hogan that much before this book, but I read this book and made me gain great respect for him as a human. But either way, the first thing I did when I got to Miami was wake up on Sunday morning and headed straight on over to the Dewaville Beach Resort to go to Wrestle Reunion. It was my first ever Wrestle Reunion. I had never been to one before, and I had a great time. As soon as I got there, I was sitting in the lobby, and guys like Stevie Richards, D'Lo Brown, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Tommy Dreamer, these guys were just walking around me, you know, just conversating, walking around and stuff, and I was like freaking out. I was like, wow, you know, I was like, these guys are like people I've been watching. They're just walking around me, you know, casually, and it was so cool. But ended up getting into Wrestle Reunion. I ended up waiting in the lobby for about an hour. I got there an hour early, where I met up with a YouTuber named OConnell Wrestling. Go subscribe to him. But me and OConnell Wrestling ended up walking around and kind of talking a lot, and then where we met up with another YouTuber, former YouTuber whose name is Christian. I'll be talking about him a lot in this video. But either way, so me, Christian, OConnell Wrestling stood in line and waited to get in. We get in where we were given these bracelets, which is really cool. I had to hold on to mine, Wrestle Reunion bracelet right there. Really cool. And we ended up getting in, and we didn't meet anybody at this time. We got in, we kind of walked around, we conversated with each other, and I went and bought the 8x10s. I was wanting those guys to sign for me. And either way, we waited a little while, and me and Christian kind of waited for Ravi, Luke, Stevie, and Kevin to get there, which is Man on Fire 310, Assault and Battery 777, Stevie Breach, and Luke Cage 29. Go subscribe to all of those guys, by the way, and also go subscribe to frickin' Yaya88, who was supposed to be there, but he didn't end up coming because he felt sick. But either way, one thing before I get to the Wrestle Reunion stuff, I actually picked up all of these DVDs from frickin' Yaya88. He sold these all to me for $20. Great deal, and I thank him for that. Ricky Steamboat, The Life and Story of the Dragon, 3-disc DVD set. He sold me WrestleMania 24, 3-disc DVD set. WrestleMania 25. The Best of Pay-Per-View Matches 2009 through 2010. And the Heart and Soul, The Hart Family Anthology. All for $20. I mean, great, like, I thank him so much for that. I was missing those two WrestleManias, and I've been wanting the Steamboat DVD for so long. So I thank him for that. But either way, we get into Wrestle Reunion, and I meet up with all these guys, and we go in there, and the first thing I do is I meet Jake the Snake Roberts, which, right here, the Jake the Snake Roberts autograph I got, very awesome, you know, nice 8x10 sign right there. Jake was actually a dick. I walked up to him, and I said, you know, it's an honor to meet you, man. I was like, you know, how awesome, you know, is this, you know? I was like, honor to meet you. He said, and I was like, okay. And then he signed the autograph, gave it back to me, and he kind of turned away from me, and I was like, hey, man. I was like, thanks. And he shook my hand and kind of shrugged me off, so I had to leave. But Jake was a dick. But either way, it was still an honor to meet such a big star. And after that, I kind of walked around again with the guys that I'd met up with, which you can see a lot of this in the weekend videos. But either way, after that, I ended up meeting Matt Hardy, which is basically the whole reason I went to Wrestle Reunion, was the only reason I really wanted to go. And it was a dream for me to meet him. I'll have a meeting Matt Hardy experience video to explain it. But either way, he signed this nice 8x10. He said he put to Nick, Dare to Dream, Matt Hardy V1 2012. Awesome autograph right there. Ended up meeting him, and a big thank you to Stevie Breach for recording my experience meeting him. It's actually all on the weekend video, day 3. Either way, I met him. I walked up to him and I said, you know, I freeze up when I meet wrestlers, but he was so full of conversation. He said, how long have you been here? How long have you been a wrestling fan? How many WrestleManias have you been to? How long have you been watching? I answered all these questions, and he kept the conversation going. And I looked at him, I said, man, I've been waiting 12 years to meet you. I was like, I finally got to meet Jeff and Shannon. And I was like, you're my next to last stop, man. I was like, I got to meet you, then I'm about to head on over there and meet Shane. He looked at me and said, thank you, man. You know, thank you for being so supportive and stuff like that. And then he said, Shane Kane's here? I said, yeah, he's back there somewhere. And he was like, oh, I'm gonna have to run into him later. Either way, we shook hands. I stood up. He took a picture with me and shook my hand again. He was like, thank you so much for coming, you know, stuff like that. And I ended up posting the picture on Twitter, and I said, you know, it was a dream to meet you, Matt. Thank you. He wrote me back and said, back at you, bro. So, awesome experience meeting Matt Hardy. Can't just, wow, you know, finally meeting the other Hardy after meeting Jeff. Amazing. Then I had to head on over and meet the Hurricane, Shane Helms. He signed this magazine for me right there. It says, to Nick and Silver, to Nick Hurricane. Awesome thing to get signed by him, by the way. And as soon as he got done signing it, well, while he was signing it, I looked at him and I said, you know, you're my last stop. I'm getting all 4 of them. And he said, oh, you saved the best for last, didn't you? He said, you saved the best for last. I said, oh, I had to. I was like, I had to save the best for last. And he looked at Jillian Hall, which was standing there, and he did this. He said, ain't that beautiful, Jillian? And she said, that's ugly. And he said, and he looked at me and he said, you see how she treats me? And I laughed and I was like, yeah. And he kind of fake kicked at her or something like that. It was funny. Really nice guy. Shook hands with him. And thank you to Stevie. Well, thank you to Luke Cage 29 for recording my whole experience meeting the Hurricane. Awesome. Thank both of those guys. Either way, after that, we all headed over to meet Velvet Sky. I didn't meet her, but Kevin did, which is Man on Fire 310. He wrote her a little poem on his phone, and it said, roses are red, violets are blue, velvet is soft, may I hug you? And she hugged him. He gave her her room card. That's all on the day 3 video. So that was hilarious. He had a lot of balls to do that. But either way, so we left Wrestle Reunion after hanging out there for a while, headed on over to Access. Access was probably the most fun I had, you know, besides like non going to a show. It was the most fun I had. As soon as I got in there, I went ahead and bought the Wrestlemania 28 official program, which is this right here. I went ahead and bought that. I always get the programs when I go to WrestleMania. And went ahead and bought that. Then I ran back into Kevin, Man on Fire 310. Me and him walked around, ate some JR beef jerky, watched a Dean Ambrose match, and then we ran into Sean Blackford and Luke again. So we kind of talked to Sean a little bit, and then me, Luke, and Kevin spent the rest of the day tearing up Access. We had the most fun. We ended up making our own entrance, being Evolution. Luke came out there and said, woo! And I was Randy Orton, and Kevin came in the middle and did the Triple H, and as soon as we got through doing the poses, we all 3 ran down the ramp saying, yes! Yes! And you can see that on Luke's channel. But we made an entrance. We ended up laying in the Undertaker's casket in the Undertaker's graveyard. We ended up taking pictures, meeting, grabbing for the Money in the Bank. We ended up Kevin did a backflip. I did a Swanton Bomb, and Luke did a Shawn Michaels elbow into the big foam pit of the wrestling ring. They did trivia together. They did raps together. We went through Rock's memorabilia. We went through we went through WrestleMania memorabilia, where I got to meet Harley Race, and I got his autograph right there on the Access paper. Met Harley Race. And also in Access, I ended up running into Scott Stanford, shook his hand, met him, and also ended up taking a picture and meeting Sin Cara. So those 3 guys were awesome. So in all, I met Sin Cara, Harley Race, and Scott Stanford at Access. And we ended up running around, and I'm telling you, we had the most fun at Access. It was the best Access session I've ever been to. And we also were walking around in Access, and we got stopped by this guy who's recording on his phone. When we were like, what? And he said, I'm recording for a radio show right now, and I just want to ask y'all some questions. He asked us how long we've been watching wrestling. It was me, Kevin, and Luke. He asked us how long we've been watching wrestling, you know, who do we want to win out of The Rock and Cena, and then he asked us what we think about Hulk Hogan's sex tape. So somewhere out there, me, Luke, Kevin, and Trademark, I think, were being questioned, and we're actually on a radio show somewhere answering questions about wrestling. So that was fucking awesome. And then we ended up getting thirsty and stuff, so me and Luke went ahead and picked up the WrestleMania 28 official cups there. Awesome cup, by the way. And we ended up, also, these are the cards I got at Access. They give out these little cards and you scan them and whatnot. Also ran into a guy that I met in Lafayette in 2007 at a Raw. Then I met him again at WrestleMania 27. Then I met him again at Access, and it was really cool to run back into him. Name's Chance. He doesn't have a YouTube or anything, but it was really cool. And I think that's really all we did at Access. Me and Luke took a picture where he was wearing his Rock shirt, I was wearing my Cena shirt. We were looking at each other like this while Kevin stood in the middle with his referee shirt on, and that was awesome as well. Awesome picture. I'll try to post all these pictures on the end of this video or at the end of another one, or otherwise they're all on Twitter. So go over there and check them out at ExtremeNick09. And So we leave there, me, Christian, and Luke get on the shuttle. We head over to Wrestlemania, and we walk into Wrestlemania. We part ways. Me and Luke go to get those cups refilled, because usually you get the cups refilled. If you bought the cup, you get it refilled for free for the rest of the night. That's not how they were this time. We went up there to ask them, you know, if we get refills, but the guy told us no. But then a girl told us no, and the guy said, you know what? I don't work here full time. I'll give you them refills. And he gave us free refills, so it was awesome of him to do that. And me and Luke headed down, got in our seats, and had an awesome time. Luke's ankle almost got broken by a girl standing up in her chair. She slipped and her foot went right on Luke's foot. And me and him marked out so hard throughout the Undertaker Triple H match that we didn't even have enough energy in us to do anything during the Punk Jericho match or the Team Laurinaitis Team Long match. We used the rest of our energy for the Rock Cena match. And I'm going to do a full review for WrestleMania 28 in the next few days, so I'm not going to talk too much about the show right here because I'll have to review that in its own, so I'm not going to review that right now. So I'm not going to get too much into the actual show. But either way, me and Luke sit next to each other the whole time, had an awesome time. Best WrestleMania I've ever been to, best WrestleMania he's ever been to. You can see a lot of the footage on the Day 3 video of us marking out for certain things and us, you know, freaking out and stuff. Either way, we leave WrestleMania. Me, Luke, and Christian get back on our shuttle, and we're heading on over back to WrestleMania. Well, back to where Access was, so we can, you know, go our separate ways. On the ride back, it was only like us three and like 2 other people on that shuttle, and we caused chaos again. Christian and Luke kind of tag teamed and accidentally broke a seat off of one of the shuttle chairs, just popped it off. Then also Christian leaned back in a chair and I pushed it up and broke it, snapped it or something, broke it. And it was the funnest ride home. It was so fun. We had so much fun. You can see some of that footage on there, not too much of it though, but it was a really great time. And then we ended up getting back. We went our separate ways, and then the next day I woke up, we got something to eat, and I headed over to Raw at about 5 o'clock just so I could hang out with some people and do some random stuff while I was there. And I was walking to the souvenir stand. While I was walking, I heard somebody yell, "Hey, Extreme Nick 09, Extreme Nick 09." And I was like, what? And I looked over, and there's Playa 3051, I think's his name. But he was standing there yelling for me, so I ended up hanging out with him for a long time. And then until Luke got there. Luke got there, and all 3 of us took a picture in front of the airlines arena, so you can actually see that on Twitter as well. And so we all met up there, and then we ended up splitting our different ways with the Playa, and me and Luke ended up just chilling. Me and Luke were in line, and we headed over to the souvenir stand, and some guy stood up and started saying, "TNA fucking sucks," and pointed at Luke's shirt, the RVD shirt he wore. And so me and Luke he got so much heat for that shirt, me and Luke had to run back to his hotel. While we were walking, we run into Stevie, Miguel, and Ravi. So all of us head back to the hotel. We go up the elevator, and they're making fun of him the whole time. There's a little bit of footage of that on my Day 3. And I know there's a lot of footage on Ravi's and Breach's videos, and maybe Miguel's as well. But he ended up changing shirts, and we all head back, and we get in line. And while we're in line, all you can hear from when we got in line to the time that we left was "yes, yes." That's all you heard, non-fucking stop. Daniel Bryan fans through and through. And we ended up getting into Raw. Me and Luke kind of had a little bit of nosebleed seats. Not too bad though. Had a really good time at Raw. Seeing Brock Lesnar return was a highlight as a wrestling fan to be a part of. That crowd in Miami was a highlight to be a part of. An amazing time, an amazing experience. I had to make sure I showed y'all everything I had gotten. But I didn't get to pick up any WrestleMania souvenir shirts or anything like that because it was too long a line, so I figured I'll just pick up the DVD shirt package when it comes out on WWE Shop Zone. But either way, so we get out of Raw, and all of us meet up again, say our goodbyes. They went on doing their own thing, but I had to split up from everybody else. And I went back to my hotel. And honestly, I think I didn't leave out anything. Wrestle Reunion Access, WrestleMania, then Raw the next day. I had to say it so fast, I didn't really get to share everything because I can only do 15-minute videos. But WrestleMania 28 was the best WrestleMania I've ever been to. I've been to 26, 27, and 28. And also, it was the best Access session I've ever been to. I had an amazing first experience at Wrestle Reunion. And I met some amazing guys. Go subscribe to Going Away Wrestling, Sean Blackaford, Playa 3051. I think he has one. Go follow Christian on Twitter. And honestly, some of the nicest guys I've ever met: Kevin, Man on Fire 310, Stevie Breach, Assault and Battery 777, which is Ravi, freaking Yaya 88, which is Miguel. and Luke Cage 29. Luke made my trip. Me and him had an amazing time. So thank all of y'all, and so go subscribe to all of them. This has been Extreme Nick 09. Thank you for watching.